Look, I'm not racist, but if there's a race war, guys, I'm white. I'm on side whites. I'm just saying it.
Oh, boy.
Welcome to the Lions of Liberty podcast. Here is your host, your guide, your shining beacon of liberty, Marc Clair.
Welcome on back, my friends, to the Lions of Liberty podcast. This is episode number 118. You can find the show notes for today's show at lionsofliberty.com/118. And today's show is sponsored by our good friends at Liberty Maniacs, who have all sorts of cool gear. I've got my Ready for Oligarchy shirt. What do you buy, you guys? There's no guys here yet. Just kidding. I don't want to spoil anything. Check out libertymaniacs.com, and you can get a 10% discount on your order by using the code Lions of Liberty, and you can see all sorts of cool, political, humorous, satirical shirts, mugs, and that sort of thing. So please do check them out. And now, without further ado, we will get into today's show, which is another edition of our oh-so-jovial feature, Libertarians in Living Rooms Drinking Liquor. And my first guest, as is often the case, sitting to my left, Mr. Brian McWilliams. Welcome back.
Hey there, good to be back. You know, I enjoy more than anything the Liberty Maniacs banner that we've been gifted with the pretty girl. I'm just going to say it. I don't want to be sexist. If there was a pretty guy there, I would also be for it. Well, maybe we'll rotate him, but she's a good-looking broad.
Our good friend Dan McCall made some custom Lions of Liberty, Liberty Maniacs banners, which are really nice. Some of them have some cute girls. Some of them have guys, too. We have lots of options. I haven't put those ones up.
We got to swap it out. We don't want to alienate any of our Liberty ladies that are listening.
Oh, or do we? Maybe we can talk about why there's not enough women libertarians.
That was a big conversation. Yeah. Maybe not for today,
among libertarian worlds. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. Let's bring in the guy I pretty sure I just heard breathe. Howie Snowdon, what's up?
Oh, hey, Mark. Good to be here again.
All the way from, I always introduce you as Virginia, and I feel like a bad friend, but I have no idea what name of the town you live in is. So why don't you tell everybody where you're actually living in Virginia?
I live in Leesburg, Virginia. It's like 30 miles north of Washington, D.C.
Sounds like a place I might have heard of once. Cool.
Do people do that weird, washboard dancing? I saw a documentary on Netflix on one time.
I don't even know what that is.
Neither do I.
It's like the fleet-footed Frankfurters of Franklin County or something like that. It's like this weird dancing in the up in the wacky parts of Virginia they do, the backwater.
No, this is Northern Virginia. It's all like
very high class
people that work for the federal government all live here. So it's
like CIA country, isn't it?
I think the county I live in is like the highest GDP county in the nation, and I'm bringing that
and you're
number
just
down.
Bringing that thing all the way down. Cool. All right, and what are you drinking over there in Leesburg, Virginia? We skipped the drinks for us, but we'll make up
tonight.
For it.
I'm drinking the Shinerbuck Prickly Pear Summer Seasonal Brew.
Well, that's a lot of words.
Okay.
Right.
It's actually not as good as I had hoped.
You can only have 2 of those at the bar because by the time you have about 2 of them, you're going to be too drunk to say it properly, and they're going to cut you off.
I can't criticize a fruity drink because I'm drinking a Hornsby's hard cider right now. And Mr. McWilliams, what are you drinking here?
Well, fortunately, I'm manning it up for all of us. This is something that can grow hair on everybody's nuts. I'm drinking a little Basil Hayden's Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey.
All right, let's bring in our last guest. And I've literally been waiting to hear what this guy's been drinking for... I don't know, like 3 days? I guess it's not that long. We just recorded a show. But John Odermatt, first of all, come on in. Pittsburgh, PA.
What's going on, guys? Good to be back on the Libertarians in Living Rooms Drinking Liquor. I think I missed the last one, unfortunately.
It is good to be back. And, as we know, or as I know, as listeners of the show know, as you know, we just recently did our last episode was another edition of the Felony Report, which you and I do together, and you teased that you were drinking on the show, but you refused to reveal the drink until this episode. So for days and days, my mind has just been racing about what you could possibly be drinking. So what are you? And you've been drinking this whole time, I take it, the last 3 days straight. So you're ready. So what do you got over there?
Goat's blood.
I've been drinking for 3 days. That's right. So I'm drinking. It's actually it was a pre-Father's Day gift sort of thing, a father-to-be gift from my wife. It's called Dad's Hat Pennsylvania Rye Whiskey.
Oh, nice.
It's 90 proof, and it is smooth and delicious. I'm enjoying it. Some Dad's Hat Pennsylvania Rye Whiskey. So,
because Brian here, who's bragging about hair on balls and stuff, his whiskey is only 80 proof. So you're
actually leading
the man pack here.
I'm not even a man.
Man, see, this is why there's not more female libertarians, because they could care less about our whiskey talk.
That's not necessarily
Well,
true. I know,
Women
actually,
love whiskey.
I agree.
Okay.
A lot of women are big whiskey fans.
Take it all back.
I have stopped saying anything derogatory about women in whiskey because I've been slapped down too many times by women who love whiskey. I say, "Oh, I brought some wine for you." They go, "Give me the whiskey." And I have to apologize.
Okay. So, if you're new to this show, if you're new to Libertarians and Living Rooms Drinking Liquor, I can't imagine anyone's out there that hasn't heard of this wonderful show yet. What we do is we kind of throw out I usually have some sort of a plan for a show. I have topics we're going to discuss on whether it's the felony report, whether it's Rand pluses and minuses with Brian over here, or whether it's one of my many, many interviews, which you can find at lionsofliberty.com/podcast. However, in this case, this is a completely different scenario. We have no idea. We don't even talk before the show about what we're going to talk about. We just drink and shoot the shit, and hope it turns into something listenable for people out there. So what's up, guys? What's going? What shall we talk about?
I just want to throw this out there, but I'm just thinking about it. You know what would be fun? We should do sometime. We should go to a whiskey convention or something like that, and then just do a live. We'll bring a mic. We'll walk around. We'll interview some people making the booze. We'll periscope it. We'll podcast it. Yeah, we could talk about tell me your process. Tell me about your thoughts on liberty. We'll interview some people on the floor and get hammered at the same time. It'll be great.
This all sounds great. Can we write this off? That's the main question I have.
That might be the best idea you've ever had, Brian.
It's literally the best idea I've ever heard you say.
Do we need to LC this thing? Become a limited liability corporation?
It's funny you say that.
LILDL LLC?
Oh, man, I don't know. That's too many L's, too many letters.
Is this going to be in Kentucky, our whiskey episode?
I think that's a good choice. It means we all have to travel, but I guess to be at the same place, most of us would have to travel.
It's worth it. I'd like to go to the Blanton's distiller if we can.
You've already got a location scouted. This is great. All right, you should go check it out this weekend. Maybe. How far is Kentucky from you?
I have no idea.
You have no idea at all. It could be 10,000 miles for all you know. I think it's not too far. You can definitely get there in a day.
It's closer than Florida.
How we get drunk? You're boring everyone. You're boring the crowd.
I do recommend all of us getting drunker. Why don't we just do a quick little cheers, all four of us? Let's see. I don't know how you cheers over Skype, but here. I'll tap my microphone.
There you go. Perfect.
There you go.
I got something to throw out we can start talking about.
Okay.
Because we were talking about this a little bit before the show.
Because there's some people listening right now like, I wonder if they ever actually talk about anything. And if you want to hear us literally never talk about anything, go listen to episode 100. Because I don't think we talk about literally anything.
No, I think it was just a bunch of guests.
Yeah.
So this just happened literally as the day of recording this podcast. So, whatever day it turns out to publish, whatever.
Yeah, don't reveal what day this is. We don't want people to know the whole process that goes into this.
Yeah. The wizards behind the curtain. Anyway, so the Supreme Court, speaking of wizards behind curtains, the Supreme Court today ruled, and everybody, every progressive and their mother and everybody else was saying this was a huge win for civil rights. I don't know if it is or not necessarily, but the Supreme Court ruled that the Fair Housing Act, which is debatable whether it's a good thing or not, empirically it might be, even though it's really kind of liberty infringing. No. But here was the big thing. They ruled that these people could sue, like there could be discrimination court cases that could be without any actual evidence of discrimination. Or intentional discrimination, I should say. So they can say, okay, I've been discriminated against as a person that wants to get housing in this area, yet there doesn't need to be any actual proof of discrimination on the point of the realtors or the developers or anything like that for it to move forward.
You know what I'm sick of? I'm sick of this word discrimination being used as the sort of word, the go-to, the catch-all. That's what I was looking for. The catch-all for any sort of for discrimination, but for any sort of decision about who to associate with in one's life, as if this is necessarily the worst thing on the planet. I mean, if you strive for a free society, if you strive for free association, I mean, we all discriminate every single day. I live with my girlfriend, Rosalind. I discriminate against other people by living with her instead of them. I'm hanging out with Brian right now. I mean, I'm discriminating against other people I don't like I've met that I'm not hanging out with. I mean, it's just a ridiculous thing. And I get that we're talking about like racial discrimination in a lot of these cases, but just the word in general is so freaking overused, as if like just the concept of discrimination itself, we all discriminate every single day. Like, I'm gonna help an old lady across the street maybe, and not like an able-bodied man. Am I rambling? Does this make sense?
No, it makes total sense. Well, it's like,
I am rambling.
It's
I know
discrimination
that.
If I hold the door open longer for a woman than a man. I might hold the door open and stay there. For a man, I might say, "Here you go, buddy. Hold the door open and push it open," and then he he doesn't get the same amount of treatment. Yes, that's discrimination. I'm I'm discriminating, but it's still ridiculous. But anyway, read a little snippet. You pulled it up, Mark. Read a snippet of this because
I don't want to read. Because no one told me anything about reading. All right, I'll read the first couple paragraphs, and we'll see if we can make sense out of it.
Just this paragraph right here should be fine.
Which, the second one?
Yeah, the second one.
Well, all right. The court affirmed a Court of Appeals decision in a case in which a nonprofit group, the Inclusive Communities Project, I'm already bored, said the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs had contributed to, quote-unquote, segregated housing patterns by allocating too many tax credits to housing in predominantly black inner-city areas and too few in predominantly white... so are they saying whites were discriminated against here?
They're saying
I'm confused already.
I believe they
Let's
are.
cut these first 10 minutes out. I'm bored.
It might be boring.
All this
here's
Supreme Court
the crux of it, is that this decision, though, my big concern is that it opens up a ridiculous amount of lawsuits that can happen, because the big thing was that there doesn't have to be proof that they were trying to discriminate against anybody. It's just based upon people saying, I was discriminated against. You didn't even mean to, because it's harder to prove discrimination.
Yeah, so I'm reading it.
Right.
They're basically saying, like, you know, if the end result of something can be shown to be disparaged, it can show sort of a discrimination in some way, in the sense that there's disparate... What word am I looking for? God.
Disparity?
I'm not even drunk yet, is the thing. Yeah, disparity. Thank you.
problem.
I don't know why. Thank you, Howie. You've proven your worth already for the show. If they can show that there is some sort of disparity, and I don't even know what that means necessarily. It could mean just different areas where there's more black people or white people or whatever, that they can then therefore see you and say you are discriminating against us, even if there's, as you said earlier, no intent at all.
Right.
And
the term they use is unconscious prejudice. Which is
not prejudice at all. Then
so now we're
ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's not even that's not even a real thing.
So now we're just making up new concepts that make no sense and applying them to broad scoping rulings that potentially affect everyone in this whole darn.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Exactly. Like, what was that?
Not to be controversial, but I
We
mean,
wouldn't want that.
Even if we are talking about like discrimination based on race, which is reprehensible, I'm of the opinion that people should be able to do what they want. I don't think the government should be able to discriminate against anyone. I mean, they're there to represent us all, but any citizen or a developer or whoever, I think, should have the right to do what they would like with their property.
I sort of do agree with you in principle and concept, and used to really tout that same line, but we also have to think about things in a broader scope, because in today's society, let's be honest, if you're a major corporation, even if you're a small company, you are in some way effectively a branch of the government, because you are getting subsidies, you are getting tax breaks, and this applies differently to different organizations. Obviously, some companies are much more applies to than others. But I think that's the problem with when we live in a sort of corporatist economy, is that we want to principally say, yes, people with private property can do whatever they want and associate with whomever they want. But at the same time, when we live in a sort of place where the government and corporations are essentially merged in so many ways, we really are... we really have to look at corporations as a branch of the government in many ways, and maybe apply some of the principles that might go against private property in theory to them, because it's not really that private. What do you think about that?
That's a good point, but something else, if you mentioned today's society, is I don't think a lot of people put up with any kind of racial bullshit. I think there'd be a lot of backlash against any company that's seen to do that too.
And I do think you're right about that.
I mean, especially the younger generation of millennials are like the most accepting, open-minded people that there's ever been. So if someone's going to be discriminating like that, I don't think it's going to work out too well for them. But, that's a good point that you make. These quasi...
Like if Apple starts saying...
corporate government organizations. Yeah, I see your point.
Okay, I guess I don't need to elaborate if you just agree. Just roll over like that.
But that's the thing, knowing that, these companies, this is why this ruling's so ridiculous, though, is knowing that people know these realtors and everything, they know they can't discriminate because they're going to get slapped down and people are going to riot up against them and they're going to get, they'll lose business. People say, I'm going to boycott this neighborhood and yada yada. So they're not going to intentionally do it. Yet, again, this ruling says that you don't even have to be intentionally doing it. You might just build a nice neighborhood and turn people down because they don't have the right credit levels or whatever else.
And it might just turn out that those people might happen to be of a different race.
And then, oops, now there's a lawsuit. Now you have a lawsuit you have to defend. And you have multiple lawsuits. So it's just opening up this litigious society of ours even further for no reason. And it doesn't make it, to me, it makes zero sense. So, anyway. Odie, any thoughts?
I don't see any way that this can hold up in court. I mean, if they're just going to base it with like an
the Supreme Court.
There's no other court.
No, but I mean, like
Somebody called Galactron.
Like a jury trial.
I don't see how they're going to apply it consistently. I don't know how they can apply it consistently to cases, to individual specific cases that they look at, saying that this developer or this apartment, complex owner discriminated. What the heck are they going to base on? It's going to look at the percentage of.
I'm no lawyer, and maybe we should have had our legal counsel, Mr. Young Rico, on the show to discuss this. But I don't know why he said he's young. He's really no younger than any of us. Because what the hell was I saying?
Don't most laws take intent into consideration, though? I mean, I thought that was...
Well, that's the whole thing about this stuff. That they're saying the intent doesn't matter in this case,
right,
for whatever reason. But no, I think what they'll do, to answer John's question or statement or whatever the hell that was, is that they'll cite Supreme Court case XYZ or whatever this is called, and they'll be like, well, this precedent's already been set. No point in not going along with this because it's going to, if it ever gets back up, it won't get back up to the Supreme Court because they've already ruled it. We can do it, so... Psh.
Yeah, but they could bring it up in like any situation. I mean, that's what I don't understand. Like, what's the bar? Is there a certain amount of diversity there has to be?
No, exactly. It's Pandora's box. Where
doesn't
is
make
the bar?
any sense.
Who knows? It's ridiculous.
All right, guys, why don't we shift gears and talk about something that matters, like the Confederate flag?
Oh, God.
Actually, I was just about to mention that, based just on intention. If somebody is flying the Confederate flag and it's not intended to be racist or anything like that, I'm going to just take most Southerners' word for it. If their intent isn't for it to have to do with slavery or racism, does the intent not matter? I don't know.
I used to watch the Dukes of Hazzard growing up as a kid. I mean, did it turn me into a racist? No, it didn't turn me into a racist.
No,
well, before everybody started making a big damn deal about the Confederate flag being racist, I never thought of it. It's like that South Park where, the kids have this flag, there's a flag of South Park and it's got a black guy being hung on it. And they're like, oh, I don't understand why it's racist because there's just a guy being hung. Because they didn't think of it as racist. I never thought of the Confederate flag as racist. I knew it was for the South. I knew there was slavery, but whatever. It just symbolized a dead attempt at something in the South. Whatever.
And look, I don't want to go all Tom DiLorenzo on you guys here because, I mean, look, it's very clear that a majority, if not all, of the Confederate states had slavery as something they held dear and wanted to keep. So I'm not going to defend the Confederacy. At the same time, the Civil War was about more than slavery. There were many other reasons that it happened, and the North did invade the South, and I wouldn't necessarily say that everyone fighting under the Confederate banner was fighting for slavery. Many people were fighting to just not be invaded by this force that is coming in and destroying General Sherman destroying their town and killing their families.
The vast majority were not slave owners.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, you got to be rich to be a slave owner.
Exactly.
The vast majority were not slave owners.
Right. The vast majority of human beings were not slave owners. So, I mean, to just say that necessarily everything involving the Confederacy and the Civil War must be about slavery per se is, I don't know, silly. But let's just say it is. Even if it is. I mean... Even if it really should be about the intent of the person waving the flag, but even then, I don't want to ban the flag, even if they are all racist about it. I guess is my point. I mean, it's a flag. Now, if we're talking about a government institution, the Charleston Capitol, I don't know. That's when things get kind of messy because it's the public, and we're talking about it's the tragedy of the commons now. Now, half the people might want the flag on the Capitol, and half the people might not. Well, who owns it? Everybody does. So, how do you even resolve that? I don't know.
Maybe they should just ban all flags. No flags.
I'm down with that. Why
it's
not?
Like the Ten Commandments in government buildings too. It's the same kind of argument comes up. Some people want it, some people don't want it. What do you do in that situation?
We should make a Lions of Liberty flag that that's our new flag. We'll worship it like the American flag, and we'll say pledge an allegiance to it every day.
I pledge allegiance to Marc Clair and the rest of his goons at Lions of Liberty.
Hey, I would leave it up to the people. Was it North Carolina, South Carolina? I'm not even sure.
I think it was Charleston. Yeah, South Carolina.
But that being said,
Howie, you're like next door. Like, how do you not know these states?
I feel like in this day and age, I don't think any Northerners are ever going to understand. It's probably in their best interest to just stop flying it in government buildings.
I mean, probably.
I agree with Rand getting on the side of maybe it's time for it to be in a museum. I think it's. I don't understand why anyone would want to put up such a fight for it right now.
Well, look, I know a girl who is indefinitively no way racist, but she owns a shirt that she's from the South, she's from Florida, and she owns some shirt that's, some reference to Dixie, and it's got the Confederate flag on it.
She's from the South, and she's from Florida, and she's not a little racist.
No, she's not racist. She's too cracked out.
I'm making
she's
jokes,
way too
folks.
cracked out on meth to think about race.
Okay, that
Florida
I get.
Florida is not the South, by the way.
That I
at all.
believe.
No,
it's
Florida's,
not.
Florida's Cuba North.
Isn't Florida still owned by Spain?
Cuba,
Pretty much.
Oh, that's cute. I don't know. I'm not really a history buff.
But anyway, the point is, she has this shirt. It's just, to her, represents the South. It's Southern pride, Dixie, whatever. And it's like, she doesn't give a shit. And so to say, like, now nobody can wear a shirt because now you're officially racist, because now they've made it racist. If you wear this shirt now, after all this shit, you are officially racist.
They've made it racist, right? It's not like it's an inanimate symbol. It's not. I mean, even the swastika. I mean, obviously the swastika is, for obvious reasons, associated with Nazism and that stuff. But that's an ancient symbol that goes back to like ancient India, and it meant like peace.
Right.
I'm not. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember exactly what it meant, but
when I lived in Korea, like it's a lot of Buddhists actually. Like people wear that all the time, and it's like, holy shit, are all these people Nazis?
And how he's like, man, what are these Nazis doing here?
But it's like, no, it's an ancient symbol.
So
and
this is where they went.
It sucks that I guess nobody's ever going to be able to use it over in the Western world again, but.
Yeah, I mean, but hey, there's people that have, Nazi memorabilia. I mean, there's people that just like to collect memorabilia. Some people like to collect the Confederate flag.
But it's illegal to collect it. Nazi memorabilia.
It's illegal?
It is?
It is illegal,
It is illegal.
Wait, what?
Yeah, which, again, is kind of crazy, but it's illegal.
Are you serious?
You can't deal it. You can't...
In the United States of America?
Yeah.
That's not true.
There's a whole... Yes, it is true.
This is amazing.
I see people selling that stuff at gun shows all the time.
Well, they are selling it
law.
illegally, and they could get arrested for it. It's illegal.
Hold on. This is crazy.
I'm telling you, selling Nazi memorabilia. We're going to do it in real time right now, folks. We're looking it up.
Go to eBay. I bet you guarantee
we should be periscoping this, and somebody could tell us.
We should. Here, should I get on Periscope?
Wait, Obama signed?
Yeah.
That's a fake. Never mind. Cut that
there's
out.
so much, like, we're never going to find a real... I was checking out this antique store. Yeah, I don't know. We're going to have to cut out, like, 40 minutes of audio if I figure it out.
Okay, maybe you can collect it. I thought it was illegal to sell.
It's illegal in Germany.
I think probably
well, it's definitely illegal in Germany.
Yeah, well, it is. I know that Nazi, like, talking about Nazis is illegal.
If you type in Nazi in eBay, like 24,198 listings come up.
Well, there you go.
Looks like all kinds of coins and crap.
So you guys are just making shit up, I guess, right?
Well,
or eBay is flagrantly violating the law.
What's sad is I think I'm basing this upon an Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode I saw where they came across a lot of...
yeah.
No, I honestly did think it was illegal. Just like I thought,
that's so crazy.
Like ivory is illegal. Oh, should we get into that whole thing?
Sure, why
that's
not?
a good topic to go.
Hold on. One thing on the Nazi
everything.
memory, I did find something relevant here.
Okay,
So an article
I gave
from
up after 3 seconds. So go ahead.
An article from 2001. So maybe this has changed, but it actually says it's interesting. That Howie's saying that eBay has all this Nazi stuff on there because it says that Yahoo and eBay have taken steps to prohibit members from selling any Nazi items except for coins and stamps.
Actually, all I'm seeing right now is coin stamps, and looks like some pictures. Like there's like a woman in like some kind of Nazi lingerie with a machine gun.
Maybe it's like the outfits and maybe it's like the more
and
formal
lingerie.
stuff.
I missed that.
I like how Howie conveniently landed on the women wearing Nazi lingerie.
Well, Sandra Bullock's ex-husband was dating a woman who was big into Nazism, right? We should ask her. Can we get her on the podcast?
I feel like you guys are making everything up.
That is completely true. Sandra Bullock's ex-husband, what was his name? Jesse
Nazi?
James.
He got
the reason she divorced him was because he got caught going out with some tattooed pinup model who always wore Nazi gear to spank him.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know what the last 2 sentences.
Allegedly,
she stopped going out with him because he was cheating on her. But
with a tattooed pinup model who wore Nazi gear all the time.
I think if she weren't
was it
tattooed
Dita Von Teese?
and Nazis, yes, it was. It was Dita Von Teese.
No, I don't think it was Dita Von Teese.
Yeah, it was.
That wore the Nazi gear? I don't think so.
I didn't know she wore Nazi gear, but that's who Jesse James
if you look
was
up Jesse James
banging.
and Nazi, you'll see you'll see the picture come up of like this chick he was
You're
cheating
gonna
on her
get
with.
a picture of like an old Western like.
Should we include it with the
gunslinger
podcast notes?
Oh boy, this is gonna be a hell of a show notes, all right, kids. Let me tell you.
All right, maybe we should move on.
Poor John Daubert's got to listen to this whole thing.
What? Somebody called me?
All right, moving on.
Poor listeners. I mean, I'm just kidding. You guys must like this. You listen. I see the numbers.
They love it.
Listen to these shows.
You love it when we abuse you.
Yeah, but I'm sick of this whole like banning culture. Banning. Stop it. I want to ban banning. Banning. Stop it. I want to ban banning.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want anyone to think I meant the Confederate flag should be
No, I
banned.
don't-
I thought
no, I
just
don't.
maybe it's not a great idea for the state governments to
No, and I
fly the
agree.
flag.
It's,
People should
it's
do
probably
whatever,
not.
People should do whatever they want. That girl can keep her T-shirt. I don't care. I'm sure she's not racist.
I'm not sure still, but I don't know this girl.
Well,
Well, it's just like, we're talking about, I said, banning things. I wrote this article about the U.S. government crushed 1 ton of ivory. A whole ton of ivory. Now, that ivory, granted, ivory is illegal, 100% illegal to buy and own in the United States. China, you can still do it. Though they're
not 100%.
Yeah, it is.
It depends how
Man,
old the ivory
it
is.
shows how much
no,
research
that's
we don't
true.
do on this
No,
show.
he's right in this situation.
know
It's
what's
just like
legal and what's
sea
not.
turtles are. You could have a stuffed sea turtle because a friend of ours has a stuffed sea turtle that he bought, but it's old. It's from like the 60s. That's legal. But you can't determine the age of things
You're
easily,
grandfathered in.
so thus it makes it essentially illegal. Like he can't sell the sea turtle because you can't age the sea turtle. He could have gotten it today, so it's illegal. But the point is, the government, they crushed a ton of ivory, but they, because it's illegal to make a point about illegal poaching of ivory, but it does nothing. It doesn't do anything to stop people from poaching ivory. If anything, it drives the price up because, hey, there's one less ton of ivory in the world, so everything else is worth more money. So it's like, why, if instead of banning it, why not just let people say, okay, you learned about this, it's a bad thing, we're against it. Private property comes into play there. You can protect these animals through private property rights.
I mean, is
and
ivory
it'll take care of
specifically-
itself.
Is it? I mean, I know the reasoning behind it is because like certain elephants are endangered, right?
Elephants
that's
and
the
rhinos,
concept.
yeah. And a lot of time they kill them. There's humane ways to do it where you can harvest it without killing them.
Well, right, and there's not. Wait, without killing them, you can take the.
Oh yeah, totally you can.
Oh, why don't we just do that?
It doesn't grow back though, does it? I mean,
well, that
I don't
sucks.
Well, it grows.
This is
Yeah, it grows
counterintu-
over time, but you can still. A lot of times, the animals do die when they harvest it. So these private, like they're already doing it with the white rhino now. It's like you can have private property. The white rhino is like going extinct now. Private property, it's like a rebound of massive proportions, but you can harvest the horns and still have the animal be fine and safe and live a nice, happy life without killing it.
That seems like a nice compromise for everybody.
Because the
doesn't
poachers
it?
just shoot it and take the horn. They're not worried about the animals.
The poacher just needs to get out of there, so he needs to shoot the guy and get his ivory.
Exactly.
He's not trying to
So private property, boom.
All right, Howie's dying to talk about
Okay,
ivory.
go, Howie.
Howie, go.
Yeah, no, I mean this may seem counterintuitive, but
Most things
really,
you say seem counterintuitive.
Animals that you're allowed to hunt, there will be more numbers. There's a guy recently was upset. He just went and I guess shot a rhino somewhere, but turns out it was an older male that was aggressive, was killing younger males. He paid a ton of money to go and do it, which that money goes to pay for rangers and things, which take care of the areas.
Yeah, for the private property.
But if you put value on these animals, people will make sure they exist and stay around because of the money that it brings to their area. They won't just poach them and go and wipe them out trying to get, whatever they can. They'll want to keep them there.
It's again sort of the tragedy of the commons because a lot of these poaching laws, they're just saying, all right, here's the wilderness that the government of whatever X country in Africa maybe owns. Don't go shooting things. Don't go killing these animals there. And then, of course, that drives up the price, and everybody really wants to go poach them now. So poachers have to operate illegally and go kill the animals. And then there's no care for the animals. All the poachers are going to travel to these areas and kill as many of these animals as they can because there's no rules. They're acting outside of the law. And it's basically public open property. And, I'm sure there are like rangers and stuff patrolling, but at the end of the day, it's not private property where, if you have an actual, say, reservation, it's not like theory, by the way. Like this is
practice.
Brian mentioned the white rhino. That's like
world example.
a real case that has occurred where, they had rhinos on a privately owned reservation and they just basically took care of the herd and took care of the breed. They would kill some. And
they would have hunters could come and kill some. That's part of
you
the
pay
thing.
X amount of money to be allowed to kill X amount of rhinos,
Right.
and they do whatever with the money. But obviously, because that's the business and that's the way it's being run, you're not going to let your rhino population be wiped out. That's just not. So they're going to set it up so people can shoot X number of rhinos or what have you, and sell X amount of ivory. I don't know how it all works specifically, but the point is the private property owners can control this kind of thing. And I don't know, I guess there might be ethical reasons why people might not like the idea of animals being property.
Of ownership, yeah.
But honestly, if we're talking about humanity, that is really, like, at the end of the day, the fairest way to treat animals, because when something is your property...
They were on just grazing around in the commons, and people would kill them for everything. The Americans killed all the bison off, essentially, and now, you have bisons on reserves that are protected, and they've rebounded.
Now I want a bison burger.
Delicious.
Oh, yeah.
Odie, what do you think? What would you rather eat, a bison burger, elephant burger, or rhino burger? It's like fuck, marry, kill.
I'd rather have alligator. I love
I do
alligator.
too.
It's delicious.
Alligator's not bad.
That's some good protein.
I've never had rhino. I'd like to have it.
Blackened alligator is fantastic. If you ever go to New Orleans, there's a place called Ralph and Cuckoo's. It is freaking fantastic. You got to check it out.
They also are not sponsoring this podcast.
Yeah,
And
what
New
is with all
Orleans
these
also
free
removed all the
sponsorships?
Confederate flags from everywhere.
From everywhere?
That's what I think they said.
People's homes?
The governor was like, well, I guess you can't do it from homes, but I don't think Louisiana had the Confederate flag flying in their state offices or anything like that. But the governors had issued some statement. Maybe we could look it up real quick about.
I'm not doing that.
All right, well, screw it. Well, you look it up at home. That's your homework.
Everybody at home, look up the Louisiana governors.
Mark hates Bobby Jindal.
Oh, I do hate him. God, he's
I
the
do.
worst. Everybody hates Bobby Jindal.
I do too.
What I really hate is just like everybody. I know that sounds.
Every day there's another.
Every
Christmas
GOP
gonna announce now.
candidate is who I hate.
Everybody. There's like
was just gonna
75
say that.
candidates.
Even Rand?
He's all right. I hate the idea of there being this million candidates, though.
That's insane.
God, stop. I have two theories.
I have one theory. I'll let you go
All right.
first.
Well, mine's probably going to be one of them.
Probably.
I have 3 theories.
Well, one's just like the idea that we go in election cycles. So, like, all right, we just had a Democratic president for 8 years, and like possibly just based on how things usually go, is a decent chance a Republican gets elected in the next cycle, or at least that might be the theory. So they're in the minds of people that might buy into that. Then these guys are all really running for president. They're not necessarily running for just GOP because they see the GOP as who's going to win. So they all want to get in and they all want to start it. Now a lot of these guys, I gotta think a lot of these guys realize they're not going to be president and not going to win. But that's kind of how you start your president career, whatever, too, just by like a failed run that gets some kind of traction, and then you do it again in 4 years. I don't know who that's actually worked for in real life, actually, because all the guys that actually win president it seems like the guys that Obama first time running, Bush first time running, Clinton first time running.
The older Bush, Herbert Walker Bush, I think.
So we had to go back like 30 years for an actual example where that happened.
Theory, which I think makes a lot of sense.
The other is the conspiracy, so I'll see if your theory is the same as mine.
Well, mine's basically I'm just saying it's not a conspiracy in my one. It's just that look, if the field is so flooded, it's so splintered already that to actually win the GOP primaries and get to become the person that's going to be running for candidate or running for against the Democratic candidate is number one. You have such a better chance than if you went up against one big dog, because now there's 25 people all pulling votes away. So they say, I have a better chance now. Yeah, there's no leader of the pack.
But I thought Jeb was like the guy.
He is.
Has he even officially announced yet? He has, right?
He has.
Or has he announced the announcement? That's like the new thing now. Now we announce announcements on Twitter, and like that's how it works.
Chris Christie announced that he'd be announcing, so he's now in the race.
God.
And did you guys hear Hillary Clinton is going to be tried for racketeering?
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Good.
Can't wait till that goes nowhere.
Yeah.
Criminal.
She is officially going to be tried for racketeering. So it might be Bernie Sanders versus the world.
Dude, I would love that.
That would be amazing.
I would vote for Bernie Sanders over any Republican candidate except for
I
Rand Paul.
am going to probably agree with Howie.
I think
on
I
that
would too.
statement.
Odie?
I mean, obviously, I disagree with every economic decision he'll ever make, but my two biggest things are for us to stop getting in wars and dropping bombs on people, which I think he's with us on that, and also ending the drug war.
And he's also good on NSA spying, too.
Yeah.
And
he is.
And I'm pretty sure he's not that bad on guns either. I know Vermont's a pretty gun-friendly state.
No, he's actually good on guns. If you wouldn't think it, because he's like a Democrat, and he's in many ways like a most progressive Democrat out there, at least like economically. But
he's a socialist. He probably wants everybody to get a gun.
Yeah, there you go. That was actually kind of funny, young man. But he's not. He's voted against like gun control legislation. He's actually pretty good on guns. So yeah, I mean, look, I can't. I could spend a whole hour talking about how Bernie's ideas about economics and how people should be taxed and that kind of thing are wrong and terrible. But in terms of a lot of things that matter, he is a lot better than almost all of the GOP.
Yeah. Odie, why are you so quiet? Your baby's not even born yet.
I think there's a petition out there just to get Bernie Sanders to read any book on economics.
Any book.
There is actually.
Even Mein Kampf or Das Kapital. Das Kapital is fine. Mein Kampf. That's not an economics book, is it?
Yeah, I can't agree with you guys and say I'll vote for Bernie over anyone except for Rand.
That's why you've been quiet. You're like, shit, I don't want to be. All right, so.
But maybe I'd vote for Mitt Romney over everyone except Rand. I don't know.
No, that's not true.
Yeah.
Is he running?
Yeah.
No.
No, okay.
Yeah. I could see him coming into the last minute when everyone's tied at like 7%.
That would be funny.
Mitt Romney's back.
See, there you go. And that's to my point. It's so splintered. Why not, man?
Yeah. I was just kidding. I wouldn't vote for Mitt Romney, but I really just want to talk about Donald Trump and his ridiculous comments about Mexico.
Let's talk about Donald Trump. Why not?
I haven't heard this. No, I haven't heard about this.
Okay, so he's getting freaking skewered by the media today. Just getting freaking
first I'm
killed.
hungry for bison burgers, now I'm hungry for skewers. Anyway, go on.
I thought you were going to say you're
So
hungry for
he says, and I quote, Mexico is sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems to us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're bringing their, T-H-E-I-R, their rapists. So I guess he thinks that like the Mexican government is sending these people to the United States. I don't know where he's coming from.
Do they figure it out on the census?
Let's point out that the U.S.'s drug war causes 90% of Mexico's problems.
Thank you.
Anyways,
Yes,
Howie.
exactly right. Exactly
Ding!
right.
Are we keeping points this week, Odie?
Howie gets the first point of the podcast.
You do. You might be the only point, but hey, if we make one relevant
I'll take
point per episode of this, I think that's actually should be seen as a win. To be quite honest with you guys.
But I mean, did you guys watch any of his announcement?
I have not. Can you describe it to me
my
in
time.
morbid detail?
I watched like the quick 20-second breakdown of the quotes, and I don't know if I can break it down for you very adequately, but he did say that
the breakdown.
He actually said, "I'm extremely rich," like 5 times during his announcement. So I don't know how that's going to endear him to people.
Yeah.
And he fired my son.
Just
Yeah, I
such a-
wonder if he would repudiate the debt, like he's declared personal bankruptcy multiple
I like
times.
that.
Like,
Oh
like
my
that
God,
take.
Venezuela style?
Well, you know what?
Didn't they declare bankruptcy?
The United
at one
States
point?
government probably should declare bankruptcy in all reality because it is,
100%.
bankrupt, and there's literally no way to pay off the debt and the obligations and all that. So sure, maybe Trump is the guy to do it. He's got so much experience with bankruptcy. He might be the guy for that. No, but you know what? Honestly, though, I don't like that statement Trump made. I don't like a lot of things Trump says at all. But part of me is like, I like that everyone hates this guy. I hate, even the other GOP candidates attack him. They're like, ooh, he's not a real politician. He's not serious. It's like, shut up. Don't criticize him for that. Criticize him for his policies if you want.
Yeah, exactly.
But shut up. You guys, just because you guys are already in office up for something that you have the right more to run for president than this other guy. I kind of like, in concept, in theory, the guy that is a businessman, a guy that's by all accounts treats his employees very well. By all accounts, is like a great guy to his employees.
Until he uses them and fires them, like my son.
So maybe he will be better than a lot of these guys as president.
Better him than somebody that's like, oh, I got out of college, I was a political science major, I was an aide, and then I became
a lawyer, and then
lawyer, then I became a candidate, and then I became regional again, and it's like,
And that's
oh,
pretty
great.
much a lot of these guys.
Well, it's like
Not most of these
teachers who
guys.
have only been in academia that have no concept of the outside world that say that everything's fucked up with the outside world. It's like, what do you know? You haven't done shit. You don't know anything.
Yeah, and Rand was an eye doctor until he became he's still an eye doctor. At least guys like that. I just have a little extra respect for guys that have made their lot in life outside of the political realm, at least. Not that I don't know. I haven't. Who's writing the Donald Trump presidential profile? Anybody? Okay.
Oh God, I guess I'll write it.
Yeah. Hey, speaking.
He's getting blasted for this. He said he wants to build a great wall along the Mexican border.
That's because he went to China and he was like, "Sweet wall, guys."
I'm
and then
all
he's
for
like,
that.
"I want one."
Think of the tourism.
I'm pretty sure that Rick Perry said the exact same thing during debates back in 2012, didn't he?
Look, I would be completely for a Great Wall if they literally built a Great Wall like in China.
It's got to be
Because
great, though.
I want it to be a real tourist site. I want it to be super cool. I want it made of black onyx. Then I'd say yes, I'm all for it. Then
I
it's
want
something
cool little
special.
doors I can still walk through it on because I still want to go to Mexico. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, we can have like a rotating, like doors to hotels.
will be like the wall in Game of Thrones.
Yes, I want it a giant
right,
wall.
I'm
Except
coming around
we
to
can
this
make it
idea.
out of sand and rock and stuff. I don't know.
Will we have a watch on it?
No, we're not. Well,
The Night's
we
Watch?
basically will.
Let's talk about some other TV shows.
Okay. Yeah,
I don't watch
let's
Game
get
of
more on
Thrones.
for it. Hey, talking about the debt though. Rand Paul.
That's so boring. Just
Rand
go
Paul's
on.
tax plan, the fair
Rand Paul's
and
boring.
flat tax. It's gonna take. He wants to take $2 million off
Don't
government
shoot your
rolls.
load. We got a Rand pluses and minuses to do in the next week.
That's
or two.
true. I don't want to shoot my
You
load.
can comment on it. I think we should talk
Which,
about
by
it.
the way, I saw.
We can talk about the flat
feel
tax.
like,
You want to talk
I feel
about
like
the
Mark
flat
should
tax?
share his picture. Speaking of loads,
You want to talk about
him
the flat
and,
tax? I'll talk about the flat tax.
I'll just say Mark had a picture of him in a gray mud bath, and it looked like the stone giant from Neverending Story had a bukkake all over him.
In a
It was
Colombian. Yep, here we go. It only took 118 episodes to get the word bukkake in here. I knew we'd
great.
find
Who
a
had
way.
the over-under on it?
That's the word of the day.
Everybody, cherry.
That's from a mud volcano outside of Cartagena, Colombia, and it's freaking awesome.
That's what the stone giant calls it, the mud volcano.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they don't really know why the mud is there. I mean, I'm sure some scientists know. The locals
they don't know why the mud's there? I think mud's everywhere.
It's like an actual volcano with like bubbling mud. It's crazy.
Nobody knows why the mud's
Somebody,
there.
I mean...
That can't be good.
I'm sure actually probably all science knows.
And up came a bubbling mud.
Oh, boy.
Well, this has gotten terrible. Let's get back on topic. Who's got a topic?
Oh, anybody? I don't know.
Nobody has a topic to talk about.
Are we going to talk about the flat tax? I thought you were going to launch
let's talk
into
about the flat tax.
defense
Let's go.
the Rand Paul's flat tax.
Hey, look, I like
great.
it. I think it's a good. I think overall it's a huge step forward. I'm not saying the flat tax is the end all be all greatest thing in the world, but the fact here for me, it's less about the 14.5% everybody's paying for the flat tax, which is still, I think, a move forward as on a personal level. But more importantly to me is a 14.5% corporate tax rate. Right now, the United States, let's go around. Guess what the United States corporate tax rate is, Howie?
It's like 39%. Sorry.
Thanks, Mark. Wow, way to ruin the game.
Oh, come on.
Well, that was a fun
It
time.
doesn't sound like a really fun game, so.
No points for you. Anyway, 39.1% is America's corporate tax rate. So if you drop that to 14.5%, holy shit, you're talking about a massive influx of business. You're talking about businesses staying here. You're talking about businesses making more money. You're talking about small business exploding because small business goes out of business at like a ridiculous rate in this country. So shit, I'm all for it. Go Rand.
Yeah, it would. I mean, there's no debating it. It would help small business. So a lot of these big crony corporations, they don't even pay any taxes. They actually get tax credits.
But that's also one of the things is he's eliminating a lot of the loopholes.
So like the crony companies are going to be all against this.
They will.
GM is going to go from 0 to 14.5.
Right.
Basically, because they're going to eliminate all the BS in theory that lets them get around it.
Right. But the problem I have, and I mean we've talked about this a lot in the Lions of Liberty Forum and other venues. And, I'm not solidly on one side or the other, but my concern with it is similar to my concern right now with the current system is I think the biggest problem with taxation is withholding, because withholding makes you not realize how much is actually being confiscated from your paycheck, how much property the federal government or any government is taking from you, local government, state government. Until withholding is taken away, I don't think people are actually going to understand the pain that is being inflicted upon them with taxation. Will this lessen the pain a little bit? Sure, but I mean, it's not going to make people realize.
Well, I think
how much damage taxation is doing.
I think it'll help them realize it because from what Rand was saying and from the initial reports, it would give something like the average taxpayer would get $3,000 back per year through this tax, because just in payroll tax. Because you're not taking payroll tax out.
I love that, too. It eliminates this payroll tax that no one can avoid, no matter what their income level.
That's a good thing. I'm not going to argue with that. I mean, I don't want to pay payroll tax.
I'm just saying, if you look at if you actually and the full details are not available yet. It's just from the statement he put out and detailing what it would be in the
what is this, the TPP?
Reports.
I thought Rand was all about transparency.
Well, I'm sure he is going to put out the full report. I was trying to find it for my Rand Paul pluses and minuses.
So he's just put out like the. Supposedly his plan would be like a page. So
yeah, like and that's the other thing. He wants to completely just do away with the tax code as it is now and just make it a one-page document.
Well, frankly, any tax code longer than a page is unjust and by nature, because if it's complicated and hard to understand, it's tyrannical, really, in nature.
Right. It's set up for you to fail so they can then go after you.
Yeah, and also, the crony accounting industry that benefits from it. And I love my accountant. I don't think accountants are bad people. Accountants do great things like help me pay less money to the government, but let's be honest, H&R Block needs the tax code. They need it bad, or else they really don't have a reason to exist.
That's true.
Odie, criticize the flat tax more.
Awkward silence.
I mean, I don't know. I can't even think what I was going to say.
That's because you got no counterpoint, baby. Boom! Point to Mark and Brian. Flat tax.
Do you get any points over here? I mean, jeez.
Hey, Mark, you mentioned the TPP. I think we should talk about that.
You're down with TPP. Yeah, you know me. You're down with TPP. Although, fine, ladies.
Tip-top hooray!
All right, Howie, you're the expert. I'm just dubbing you the expert. Why don't you tell everybody out there what's the TPP and why should we give a hoot?
How many plies is it?
I'm not the expert, but the fact
I'm dubbing
that
you the expert, so you are. Just live with it.
Okay. Well, you know what? The fact that this agreement is secret, but other nations and corporations know what's in it. The only reason for it to be secret is for the United States people to not know what's in it, and that's because we're going to be against it. Some of the stuff that I heard that was released on WikiLeaks that's come out about it sounds terrible. Like, I guess companies will be able to sue countries, like, say we don't want lead in our toys from China, but some Chinese companies can then go around and sue us and be like, oh, you're hurting our business. We want you to have to buy our lead toys. They could do things like that. It's just crazy that this isn't being talked about, and it's just some secret bill that, only some people get to see. It's just crazy to me. We want the most transparent presidency, far from it.
So why does it seem like, because every headline I read on it, it seems like the Republicans are helping Obama push this through?
It does seem like that.
It's going to benefit some businesses, and these people fund their campaigns.
There you go.
Yeah.
Howie's give Howie another point for explaining this.
There you go. Well, let me add something else on the TPP,
it's
guys.
Our corporate system.
This is also a huge problem that I know it exists, has been cited several times, is also the TPP is a quote-unquote living document. And what that means is that essentially the document will be signed and ratified, and Congress will say, yay, in a quick vote they're forcing. And then, once it's through, the language doesn't have to go through another vote from Congress to be changed. It can be changed as it goes along by who? By Obama, or whoever the standing president is. Which that is inexcusable, because that means you voted in a document based on certain merits, which are already horrible, as we know, but now you can change them to accommodate this, that, or the other, whoever's got the money, whatever suits the situation, and the American
Donald
people
Trump
have
had the
no
money.
input.
Isn't Donald Trump behind this?
I hope he becomes president, because then he'll control everything.
You know what? For entertainment purposes, if it's not going to be like someone really good for liberty, which it's probably not, maybe it would be Rand, and it could even be debatable if he'll end up being good for liberty. But if it's not going to be, which I think it probably won't be, most likely, then it may as well be Donald Trump. May as well be something entertaining who will just get us through the next 4 years and give us plenty of material to talk about.
Just
in
watch
these
him
shows.
getting out of that.
Because Lord knows we need material.
Right, getting it out of that presidential helicopter. It'd be a treat every time. Just think of the GIFs. Fantastic.
Let's throw out a hypothetical here. Gun to your head, you got to vote for one. Who do you vote for, Donald Trump or Rick Santorum? Brian,
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Howie?
It's not even, that was so easy, Odie.
Donald Trump. All right, okay, another one.
How about Mike Huckabee?
That was the easiest, think fast.
Like Huckabee Donald Trump? Donald Trump.
I'm voting for Donald Trump over everybody but Rand, probably.
Santorum's such a shit heel. It's hard to even. I mean, we need different people to compare him to.
I don't even know what that means, but I think I agree.
Rick Santorum or Chris Christie?
Ooh,
go.
That's a little tougher. Chris Christie.
Chris Christie.
He's actually better, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right, Chris Christie. That'd be terrible.
It would be terrible. I agree.
Yeah.
But
all right, how about this? Bobby Jindal or Chris Christie?
God.
Jindal. I don't even know much about him.
I don't know much about him. Just
Chris
because
Christie.
I don't know much about him, I'm going to go Jindal.
I'm going to go Chris Christie because I think he'll repeal the FDA ban on trans fats.
He will command the FDA to allow trans fats, or else he just won't be able to survive.
I don't want trans fats.
I don't want them either, but
but it should be your choice. I hate to reference my own articles, but I do. I love it. But hey,
but it's not my choice when there's nothing made without them.
There's a shit ton made without trans fats.
But there is a lot of
hardly anything. You have to choose. It's like packaged sweets that have trans fats in them now, and it's a choice, and you can choose whether or not to buy them. They shouldn't outlaw them universally, especially when the government was pushing them like 20 years ago as like the healthy alternative. And there's no reason for it because, as I just said in this article, GM and all these other like Taco Bell and Pepsi, who owns Taco Bell, they're all phasing out artificial ingredients that are not using trans fats anymore. Why? Not because of government regulation, because the public is saying, oh, we shouldn't eat this crap. We want natural foods.
We need to start periscoping this so you guys can see Brian's ridiculous hand gestures while he goes on this.
And
I
think my veins in my forehead. My veins in my forehead also pulsate pretty strongly. If you hear thumping on the microphone,
is he pounding the table too?
No,
it sounds like you hear
like
not
Rico. Rico does that.
No, he knows better than that, I think.
Brian, are you for GMOs?
I'm 100% for GMOs.
Okay, good. Me too. I don't. The hysteria drives me crazy.
Anybody that's not an idiot that actually knows what a GMO actually is and actually does is for GMO.
Okay, but do you think it's possible that there are some GMOs that could be harmful to people?
I think there are some. Well, just like there's some of anything that can be harmful to people. Right. But the mass majority are incredibly beneficial and have no harm to humans in any way.
Maybe not even directly harmful to people, but sort of indirectly harmful by killing insects and things or making them mutate and then somehow harming people. I mean, that's definitely possible.
You know what? Hey, it's a race war.
It's a race war, guys.
An arms race then. Look, okay, so you make GMOs, the bugs mutate. Guys, hate to break it to you, the bugs get mutate anyway. It's called evolution.
But not like next week.
That doesn't happen. They don't mutate next week. It doesn't happen.
It'd be sweet
like
if
that.
they did, though, huh?
So it's just you go back and forth.
Hey, I saw the movie
beautiful
Killer
dance.
Bees in like 1983, and they mutated next week in that movie. So,
Damn.
and as far as I'm concerned, movies
Well,
are
you know
facts.
what? It sounds like we need to get some of their genes and put them in some GMOs.
Hey, let's spend the last few minutes talking about movies. Not new movies.
Jurassic World, is that what we're going to talk about?
We could. What are the... Okay.
It's too soon.
I haven't
It'll
seen
spoil
any
it.
movies.
Oh, he's never seen a movie, so he can't do this topic. What about the movie They Live? It's one of my favorite movies of all
I
time.
love They Live.
I'm literally top 5 favorite movie.
Roddy Piper, man.
Have you guys seen They Live?
Never.
Wow,
Are you
really?
kidding me?
Wow, you two have
That's a
homework.
libertarian must.
We could do a whole podcast on the movie They Live.
Maybe
I'm
we
not
should.
joking. It's so good.
I think we should do it.
Is it new?
No,
Oh,
it's from the
wait,
80s.
What's the backstory
It's from
on
the
it?
80s.
It's literally got Roddy Piper in it when he was like 30. So that tells you how old it is.
And there's an epic fight scene in it where Roddy Piper basically has a wrestling match in a back alleyway with this guy. But that's not the reason it's great.
not why it's great.
I bring this up. It's very Liberty related. It's the very basic plot. By the way, it's a John Carpenter directed movie. It's a fantastic film. A basic plot is that Roddy Piper is just a, ho-hum construction worker trying to like make his way in life, and he like stumbles upon these sunglasses,
Magic sunglasses.
this box of sunglasses, and he just like puts it on, and he's like, oh great, sunglasses, and he like walks around. You guys seriously need to watch this. I can't
Look,
even
the
believe
plot's ridiculous, but trust me, it's great.
So he realizes.
Is it on
Yes,
Netflix?
I'm sure
It is. So he realizes.
Okay.
I don't have Netflix.
Oh,
You don't have Netflix?
God damn
I'm
it.
surprised you even have the goddamn
Amazon-
internet, you
Amazon
Neanderthal.
Prime and Hulu.
Yeah, but then you can't watch.
I don't have.
You're missing out on so many good things like Zombie.
Oh, Zombie is great. Oh, man, the lead.
You're missing out on that Kevin Spacey show that's escaping me at the moment. What's it called?
Oh, House of Cards?
House of Cards. It's so good. It's like right up your
Oh,
alley.
yeah. I'll have to get
And
Netflix.
you do have to get Netflix. Orange,
a good
Orange
for
the
all
New
people.
Black
It's
is a
$8 a
fantastic
month.
show as well, by the way. Except the last season.
How do you guys have time to watch all this television?
Well, once you have a
I don't any time
baby and
for-
you can't leave the house.
There you go. What are you gonna do? All the babies
probably
like
true.
suckle on your nipple or the other person's? Man, I don't know anything about parenting.
We're going to be writing about liberty
That
when this
baby will be
comes out.
sucking on father's hat whiskey if it's any sort of man.
Man, we are going
There
off
you
the
go.
rails quick. All right, but anyway, just go watch They Live. Seriously, it's very Liberty related. I don't want to.
Yeah, you don't
give
want to
too much
ruin
of the
it,
plot
but
away.
look, well, hey, are we really worried about spoilers for a movie that was made in 1984, 1988?
88.
Hey, jerks, watch the movie. It's basically about corporatism and subliminal
Yes, all these
messaging
things.
and an overarching government. I won't say who it's run by. Shh, secrets. But
Was that Roddy Piper's acting
I don't know if
debut?
it's his debut.
well, you could call his being wrestled on professional television his acting debut.
Yes, you could call it that.
Well, yeah, I mean, come on. Wrestling's real. We all know
It's
that.
completely real.
It's really happening, that's for sure. It's as real as 24.
It's as real as anything else
There you
on
go.
TV.
That's my point.
People do die doing it.
All right, everyone, let's go around the room. Final thoughts. Favorite wrestling match of all time. Brian, go. Just kidding.
I
don't even
have
an
no
answer.
idea. My favorite wrestling match should be the one I go to with you and Rico here in LA and whatever it is.
All right, it will be, I guess. Howie, you watched some wrestling in your day, right? No, anything? Anything? come up?
I don't have a favorite wrestling match, but I did just recently watch the Ken Shamrock Kimbo Slice fight, and I think it was fake.
Joe
Oh,
Rogan
really?
was saying that. he
Kimbo
thought it was
Slice
fake,
won,
too.
right?
Yeah, Kimbo Slice
Did
won.
you ever see that disgusting match where he exploded a guy's ear?
Whoa.
It was grotesquely
I did not.
horrible. It was like the cauliflower ear. It exploded like a balloon full of pus. It was disgusting.
Last thing on this topic, though, I want the state of New York to freaking stop being the only state in the U.S. that outlaws professional MMA.
They're the only state still?
Yep.
That seems
Yeah.
ridiculous considering that it is literally one of the biggest sports
Who?
in the
What UFC fighter can I get
world?
in the show to talk about this issue? What do you think? Who would you recommend?
Kimbo Slice.
No, he does. Actually, the issue is the company that owns UFC doesn't hire union workers, and that's the issue. It has nothing to do with
Oh,
mixed
that's
martial arts.
interesting. So,
I think it's Zuffa. Their casinos and stuff. They don't hire union people, and so that's why a lot of New York politicians are against it. They thought this would get overturned because the main guy that was against it just got kicked out of office for breaking some law, but they still are coming up with some pushback.
okay.
Is Howie turning into a robot? It seems like he's slowly turning into a robot.
I don't know what that means, but I'm just going to say yes, because probably.
Okay.
Okay, I am a robot.
His voice. Aren't you guys hearing that little bit of feedback there, maybe?
I stopped listening to you guys
I don't know.
quite a while ago, so no.
Yeah. All right. What, Odie? What are your thoughts here?
Oh, favorite wrestling match. That's all I want to hear. It's got me.
Favorite? I don't have a favorite wrestling match. I guess.
Does nobody? Am I the only one that's favorite wrestling matches?
But my favorite wrestling match concept is the coffin match.
That's good. Yeah, concept.
all right,
is
all right.
good. Coffin
I like
match
that.
is good.
I like that you'll play along.
How about
with me a
this?
little bit.
Anything involving the wrestler Kane, who you can hear on the Lions of Liberty
There
podcast.
you go. I think it's.
Yeah.
That's right.
You should get him back on.
I should get Glenn back on. The thing is, he's really busy now because he's really heavily involved in the storylines. He wasn't.
Well, more reason to bring him back. Hey, you gave him work when he had nothing.
He's always had work. You can actually listen to my interview with Glenn Jacobs, better known as WWE's Kane, in episode 6 of the Lions of Liberty podcast. Wow. And I'm going to link. It might be the only thing in the show notes because I don't know if we've talked about anything else relevant. But
I'm actually amazed that you got him on episode 6, considering like
right?
this show has grown so immensely since then. And he was like, "Good, you know, Glenn Jacobs / Kane, you are a saint for being on
quite
the
a
show
gentleman.
so early."
Yes,
that's awesome.
And I think when I first contacted him, I had like no episodes, so
that's amazing.
Extra points
well,
for him.
Get him back on, man.
It was totally just on the fly. I'm like, oh, I'll just email this guy. He's like, maybe he'll respond, probably not. He's like, and literally 2 seconds later, he's like, oh yeah, sure, I'll come on. I'm like, what?
It's awesome.
Sweet.
Get him back.
When he was on, did he say he was interested in running for something?
I actually did ask him that question, and all the hype about him running for office is from other people trying to get him to run. He stated to me he's not interested, but didn't close the door in the future. But he's still wrestling, and he's still...
Is he coming to L.A.? Can we get special VIP passes?
Well, not now, because now he's going to know I'm just getting it for you guys, because he listens to every show, I'm sure. Hey, maybe we can meet up with him in L.A.
You should. We should do a live podcast.
If we can get Glenn Jacobs, I don't know if he drinks or not. I have no idea. He can pretend to drink and be on the show. I'm like, no, Glenn, you can't come on unless you're drinking on Libertarians Living Room Drinking Liquor. But
those are the rules.
The rules, baby.
Those are the rules, actually. All right, guys. We don't like rules because we're anarchists. Just kidding.
Mark, what's your favorite wrestling match?
Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin from WrestleMania 13.
There you go. So anybody who
one of us had a real answer for that. Thank you very much.
I'm sure Rico's at home masturbating to that answer. That's great when he listens to this.
Definitely time to end the show, I think, when we're talking.
I had to
about
listen to 3 hours of these idiots talk about wrestling. I don't know anything about wrestling. I
loved it.
I don't give a shit. I don't care.
All right, folks. Yeah, it's been fun. Until next time, guys. Are you gonna spruce up with me and do this?
Yeah,
closing?
man. I'm in. We're all in
because this is all. It's all been building up to this. Until next time, guys. And we're going to start... I should make a little announcement. We're going to start doing these shows a little more often. You know, we do this podcast twice a week, so approximately 8 to 10 episodes a month. And one of those has been Libertarians in Living Rooms Drinking Liquor. After today, I'm not sure if we're justified in creating more of these, but we are going to try to do this more frequently, possibly like twice a month going forward, perhaps with some special guests mixed in for fun. So if you're still listening, 58, 59 minutes in or so, you are already considered, an amazing person who's one of our greatest fans. So you'll love this news. Everyone else, well, you already dropped out by now. So yeah. Whatevs. All right, guys, and until next time, why don't you join me, all right? To live long and live free.
Live long, and live free, live free.
Live free
with Marc Clair.
Drinking whiskey.
Glenn Jacobs, come drink with us on the show.
Glenn, come on back, buddy. We miss you.
Head of editing and mastering is John Dolan.
He's from Tennessee. Everyone drinks in Tennessee.
Yeah.
You have to.
You literally have to. It's from birth. It's like
guys,
Odie.
You guys gotta see the movie They Live, though. It's really, it's actually influenced our culture in more ways than people realize.
This show's ending. I'm pouring myself another drink right now that Mark and I are going to
VHS?
split.
Can you mail it to me? And I'll mail your copy of...
I have it on Netflix. I could maybe let you use my Netflix.
Do you have a Betamax? I used to have a Betamax.
You can't chalk up the $7.99 for Netflix.
Yeah,
I'll mail you that Harry Brown book back, and you can mail me the...
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
My family, I literally, when I was a child, I remember, you guys remember Under Siege?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just keep talking, and if John finds anything funny...
The top was
Erica Aleniak,
right?
Erica Aleniak jumps out of the cake with Steven
Yes,
Seagal. I had a Betamax player, and my family, we would illegally copy movies, and I illegally copied Erica Aleniak jumping out of that cake in Under Siege.
That's the only reason I remember that movie.
So maybe we can do that with They Live. I'll bring my Betamax player over.
There you go.
Odie, do you have a Betamax?
Or you can just watch it on Netflix. Other option.
I don't speak Spanish. I don't know what a Betamax.
It's probably on like YouTube.
Betamaxter. I don't speak Spanish.
Seriously, I'm not kidding. You guys, Howie, you got nothing better to do, right? Odie's got like a wife and stuff, but you have no reason not to watch They Live as soon as you hang out with us.
Yeah, do it right now.
Well, tomorrow, maybe it's Saturday. I'll watch it.
Oh, it's already pushed back. So what are you doing tonight? It's 10:37.
Yeah, I got to go to sleep. I need to get to work early tomorrow.
Literally at work, you know what I do all day? You and Mark and Odie all do this. I literally lie on the floor because I hurt my back. I lie on the floor all day at work. I work on my laptop.
Actually, I
You
can
work laying on the floor?
right now.
Because I can't sit in a chair right now. It's
Talk
horrible.
about a
I'm like,
progressive company.
it's
Are you
ridiculous.
laying on the floor right now?
No, I just took a
Libertarians in living rooms lying on the floor
I
drinking
just took
liquor.
a nerve pain. Now I'm drunk and I'm high on nerve pain pill, so I'm okay.
What's a nerve pain pill do?
It's called Neurotin.
Neurotin.
Sounds.
You know it? How he's like, I snort it.
How he just opens his
Howie?
chest is like got thousands.
How do you know what it is, Howie?
My ex-wife
he's
used to have
Howie.
to take it for something.
Oh, sciatic
for
pain.
dealing with you?
Yeah,
Probably,
exactly.
I don't know.
She tried to choke you so many times, her wrist nerves were tender and inflamed. All right, well, see ya, jerks. Gotta go.
But seriously,
Right, see.
but next time we talk, we could do like, we should do this. This is an idea.
Oh,
We should do like,
Go ahead.
we could do like a live watch of a movie that we like comment on as it's playing, and listeners at home could like press play at the same time and watch with us, and we like drink, like we could drink and watch They Live and talk about it while we watch. And like obviously have to be
That'd
stuff
be
that
a
relates
very
to
long
liberty.
podcast.
Yeah,
that.
okay. How
It would
long do
be
you think
just
this
like
is?
that,
I mean,
Mystery Science Theater or whatever.
yeah,
that was,
like Liberty Mystery Science Theater.
Liberty
with
Science
drinking.
Theater.
Yeah.
Plus
Liberty,
drink.
there you go, Liberty Science Theater.
LS,
Ooh.
how about LST3K?
May as well straight up rip him
Hey,
off.
why
Liberty
don't
Science
all you
Theater.
guys come to Pittsburgh and run the Tough Mudder with Trent and Danielle and me this August?
Well,
Did you
based on
not
my-
hear me say that I lie on the floor all day because of horrible back pain?
You can still
Based
come
on
and
my-
drink. I'm not going to run.
Maybe we'll
Based on-
carry.
I'll
maybe we'll have to
come
carry it
drink.
or something.
I could definitely come drink. Based on my 0.3 mile run today, I don't know if I'm going to be ready for Tough Mudder by August, but we'll see. We should all hang out. We should do a live.
Oh, by the way, you know I'm be reading the next couple of days. Mark got a
On the
advanced
floor,
copy.
laying on the floor.
An advanced copy. I'm going to read it lying on the floor. Rand Paul taking a stand, moving beyond partisan
Is it even
politics
out
to
yet?
unite America.
Let's find out.
We have an advanced copy.
It
I'm
was
going to read
advanced.
it. I'm
I
going
feel
to
like it's
review
out by
it.
How did you get an advanced copy?
I don't know. Mark
'Cause,
pulled some strings
I'm
and
kind of a big player in the Liberty world.
a homeless guy was using it as a pillow, and Mark gave him a hand.
Yeah, it doesn't come out till May 26th. Oh wait,
I'm just
that already
surprised the
happened.
Rand
that
was
already
like,
happened.
"No,
Never
don't
mind. We
send
don't
it
have
to
an
them."
advanced copy. We have a copy.
month.
We have a copy. All right.
It's not an advanced copy. We have a copy.
See, they couldn't. They originally said they couldn't send me a PDF because it wasn't released yet. So maybe the ebook isn't released yet. That's why they had to send me. Because I was like, you can totally send me a
maybe.
PDF because I'd rather that. So then I can, because I don't like to carry large books around.
Yeah.
Like, when am I going to read an actual physical book? It's too hard.
Yeah. Well, I like physical books, man.
Well, good, perfect. You got one.
Hey, Rand, I'm going to be staring into your deep blue eyes when I'm taking
Look at
a
that stare.
dump.
He's really looking dreamy in that.
'Cause that's what I'm reading
Sure.
it. I'm
His
reading it
wife
on the
is
shitter.
Probably the best looking wife of someone running.
Is she hot?
Yeah, she's hot.
Yeah.
You could do a whole show.
Bring her up. Bring her up a picture right now.
Can she be on?
I got to see a picture of Rand Paul's wife. Kelly Ashby. It's a hot name.
Yeah.
That could be his
Oh my
best asset,
goodness! Oh
his
my
wife.
God, she's
That could be
super.
his,
Well, she's a doctor's wife, guys.
Yeah.
He's a doctor.
I mean, come
He's not-
on.
He's not just a
Oh,
libertarian
man.
nerd. He's a,
He's got to get her out there campaigning for him.
She's like
she's
50, so,
hot.
you know.
What? Is he a doctor or is he a plastic surgeon too? 'Cause she looks pretty good. She looks like she might have had a little work done, but she looks pretty hot.
All right, so your homework is to watch They Live in the
Delightful.
next few days.
Okay, I gotta go. I gotta go lie on the
Brian's
floor.
got to go lie on the
guys.
floor and read